News Board with breaking news.
At this hour, police and protesters have again squared off near the Ferguson Police Department. This is the scene live from Powerhouse Sky Zoom 4. Police have pushed the protesters south of the Ferguson Police Station.
Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lauren Traeger.
And I'm Steve Savard. Another tense night in Ferguson is unfolding as police and protesters face off outside the police department. Alexis Zotos is live this evening. Alexis, describe the scene at this 10 o'clock hour.
Sure, Steve. Well, right now, in the last, I'd say 10 minutes, things have almost completely cleared out. The vast majority of protesters have left. I'm going to let you know where we are right now. This is Adams and South Florissant. The police department is just one block that way. Maybe 10 minutes ago, there was a police line here, but they have dispersed. They've gone back to the police station as the protesters have left the area. But let me show you the scene about 30 minutes ago. This is when things just flipped. Protesters and police were squared off in front of the police department, and then fireworks started being thrown at police officers along with water bottles. Police used what appeared to be a tear gas canister to disperse the protesters. You can see in some of that video, we believe that you can see that canister flying towards our camera crews, and that did help disperse the crowd quite a bit. But back here live right now, you can see it's very quiet. There are two officers standing here at Adams and South Florissant blocking the street. But if you take a look around, Chuck, I'm going to have you swing this way. Just a bit ago, this was filled with protesters, this street, and really there's just a few people gathered here now tonight. Now, this is all unfolding within the last hour after what was a day of peaceful protests, including a peace rally. Take a look at what the rest of this day looked like. This is the Ferguson Pastor Jonathan Tremaine wants the world to see, a community fighting injustice through prayer. For Chad Bennett, George Floyd was the tipping point that inspired the 22-year-old to make a sign and stand in protest outside of the Ferguson Police Department.
I'm sick and tired of the violence inflicted on our people. I've been looking at all this mess on Twitter for the last few days, and I realized I just couldn't sit back and just watch from the sidelines anymore.
Sunday's protest and prayer rally were peaceful. In the evening, a large group marched on South Florissant. Sunday's events set against a backdrop of boarded up businesses and the Ferguson Police Department, a reminder of the violence that ensued the night before.
Don't look at the violence immediately and cast your judgment based on that. There are people out here who want to be heard. They want to be heard. That's it.
The Ferguson mayor issued a curfew for 8 p.m. Sunday as the police chief expressed his frustration about the moment a peaceful protest turned violent.
We're all upset about what happened. And I definitely understand everybody's anger and frustration because I have the same anger and frustration. But there also was a segment of people that came out here and they didn't want their voices to be heard. They just wanted to destroy. And as we can see, some of the damage up and down the street. And as you all saw from some of the videos, they wanted to destroy and they wanted to hurt people. And that's clearly that's what their intentions were, when they came out here.
So it's unclear at this point if police did make any arrests here tonight. We do know that last night there were not any arrests. As for tonight, as we've said, most of the protests have cleared out of this area with just a few officers here tonight on South Florissant. Now, we mentioned there was a curfew put in place tonight at 8 o'clock, but I spoke with the mayor and he said they were willing to let people remain out in the street peacefully protesting, that they wanted to give people that opportunity, but that curfew was in place, and that once they put out that disperse order, that people needed to leave. Steve, we'll send it back to you.
Alexis, good to know and good to see and hear that calm has become the story at this hour at 10 o'clock. But if anything changes, we can head back to you. Let us know.